Dr. Casper here, and welcome to The Political Scientist.
But now, the general election were held in Kenya on 9th of August. Voters elected the president, members of the National Assembly and Senate, county governors, women representatives, and members of the 47 county assemblies. The election conducted by the IEBC has, however, not gone without issues touching on the credibility being raised. As the country awaits the Supreme Court decision, we take stock of how the whole process was, and I will be talking to Dr. Casper, based in the US specifically. He is the professor in the political science, Colin College, Wiley, and lecturer of political and policy sciences at Southern Methodist University. Good morning, sir. It is afternoon here. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon, Dennis. I'm doing quite well.
But now, just talking about the putting in place the online platform. Right here, Kenyans went to vote on the 9th of August, and in some places the online platform did not work. It's forming a basis upon which petitions have been taken to the Supreme Court. From where you sit, what do you think we should do to ensure that our electoral processes get to work as expected of them?
I think this is part of what I call growing pains. Technology is always modified and improved upon. I think although there are many petitions that are challenging the technology, if we look at how the elections were conducted, to be quite honest, from here in the diaspora, we see that a lot of people saw Kenya's election as a coming-of-age election. Even people who may have been for Azimio in the diaspora saw this election as quite free and fair. So I believe we can improve on the technology, especially once it gets to the final place. But I think the transparency was at a level that we didn't even expect that level of transparency at the polling stations, at the constituent places. And so there are always going to be hitches, even here in the United States. I'm sure you all saw the debacles that happened. I don't want to say there is a completely perfect election that is held. And so I don't think we should more or less give up on the system or say the system is in error. I think the system is quite good. What we can do is continue to modify as we learn, because we have come a long way as a nation. And so I believe we can continue to modify, bring in some of those changes through the experiences that we are going through. But for the most part, it's just a matter of improving from one level to another. And I think we are getting there. We may not be there yet, but I think even when we look at a lot of these petitions, a lot of them are questions on procedures of sometimes human errors. And so that's a matter of training. That's a matter of coming up with better procedures. So you have to ask ourselves, is it the technology, or is it just the fact that we need to continuously improve on the training and the procedures of holding elections?
Now, Casper, you said something very important, that from where you sit in diaspora, Kenya's election was seen to have been handled in a way that shows that our democracy has come of age. Now, what does this mean in terms of our region, the East Africa community, and the entire continent? How are they viewing Kenya's elections with regards to what Kenya's election means to them and what they need to improve on?
Well, I think this is one of the most important elections that has ever been held in Eastern Africa and Africa as a continent, because of something called legitimacy. Legitimacy, basically, from political scientist perspective, is the fact that the government that has won is seen as having the moral right to rule by following the procedures of the rules of the game set in the country, usually by the Constitution. And so for us to see that all but DRC, all East African community countries congratulated Ruto, okay, that is significant for us as a region, because that helps show that the East Africa community is together and we're moving together in solidarity. So that is number one, very important, because Ruto right now is starting to gain domestic legitimacy. he's starting to get regional regional legitimacy. And we also see the important countries, which are South Africa, Nigeria. When those leading countries recognize him, he then gets continental legitimacy. The only thing that he's currently working on, of course, is international legitimacy. And so I think this election has shown that somebody can actually go against an establishment and win in sub-Saharan Africa, in the sense that he was going against a former prime minister, a sitting president who is highly involved in the system, and the Iron Lady. And so he's been able to win is quite significant. And I think we will become a standard. Most of the times, Africa looks to Europe and other places to look at the standard of elections. And I think Kenya is starting to become the standard in terms of how elections are held. I mean, this election was very close. And as you know, close elections lead to conflict in this part of the world usually. And so to have such a close election, to go first to the courts and not to the streets, I think this has broadened and built credibility. And I think Ruto right now, what President-elect Ruto, what he's trying to do right now is create legitimacy. And we see he already has regional legitimacy. And I believe he will be building up on that legitimacy to try and have the continental legitimacy, which that's what he needs. And finally, he needs the big ones like the United States, China, to officially recognize his presidency, and then he may be able to consolidate power much.
Thank you very much, Casper. From the USA, a lecturer based there. We were having a conversation with regards to the elections. My name is Dennis Aseto. For everybody that made this a success, I'm saying Asante Sana.